I'm currently standing next to the highest house in all of the Middle East at 2,000 meters of elevation in Lebanon, and I did it all with the Jetour T2. The drive up here was super nice. So I'm going to start off my review by taking an in-depth exterior walk around of the Jetour T2 because that design is really interesting to look at. Starting from the front, which I think has its own DNA. The rest of the car looks a lot like a Land Rover Defender, let's be honest. Personalized for the Jetour, you can see we have an illuminated Jetour logo with the nice camera at the front. And then these lights with the 4 points look really, really cool, especially when you turn on the hazards. Now, I've heard that the designer of the Jetour T2 came from Porsche, which explains the 4-point. If you can see the key fob, again, it follows the same DNA, I guess. The green accents aren't actually your tow hooks, they're just there to look good. And I think it works really well with the rest of the car. Plastic claddings on the side, but they're actually very solid. I didn't expect that. These don't illuminate, by the way. I actually got this car very dirty coming up here, which is what the T2 is meant to do, to be honest. And it is when you stand a bit far away from the car that you start to confuse it with the Land Rover Defender because that silhouette is very similar. This car is smaller, so directly you'll notice that it's a cuter, more affordable version. At $45,000, you're getting so much for your money. And it's when you come close to it that you're going to see how that rear design is shaped and how it kind of enlarges on the side. Again, very Defender-like. Jetour emblem. This, by the way, doesn't open by holding on it. You simply have to press a button and it will unlock basically your door, which fortunately is a soft close door. These are actually just there to look cool. They're not actually functional. They just add to the ruggedness of the car, as well as these lines over here on the top. And then you have got your camera. So I just want to show you how easy it is to open the hood. Look how we're gonna unlatch it twice and then you simply lift it. Look how easy that is. And then it will reveal the massive 4-cylinder engine. The T2 is powered by a 2-liter Turbo 4 that makes 254 PS and 390 Nm of torque, making it a 7-speed dual clutch. The car weighs in under 1.9 tons, but it doesn't feel underpowered and manages to tackle any obstacle that's under 220 mm. Like I always say, overlanding is a lifestyle, and if you're the type to use your Jetour for just that, you'll be happy to see nice options in the trunk, like this bar that locks the back door in place so it doesn't close on you, a beer opener, cup holders and Bluetooth speaker holder, and small cubby spaces here and there. The T2 is marketed to have X-wheel drive, which is just a fancy term for all-wheel drive that automatically switches between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive thanks to center and rear limited slip differentials. You also get 7 driving modes with super cool animations displayed on the 15.6-inch screen. So this is what the interior of the Jetour T2 looks like. You can see the layout is very well done. We have a large screen in the center, typical on these newer models. By the way, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is displayed on this whole screen. This is like the biggest display I've ever seen for Apple CarPlay, so yeah, that's a big thumbs up. If you take a look at the steering wheel, it mimics the design of the key fob. So look at that, this is the key fob. JT is like Jetour in this weird font, Traveler or T2 in our case, but in some countries the T2 is called Traveler. On the left you have controls for your basically cruise control and then adaptive lane assist. So behind the steering wheel we have a display for the driver, which basically displays every single thing you might need, from the clock to your hill descent assist, your driving mode, close the door and whatever. So yeah, it's a bit a mess, to be honest. It's not the cleanest display. Behind the steering wheel we have paddle shifters. How cool of a surprise that is. The dashing didn't have any paddle shifters, so it was kind of confusing of which gear I wanted to be in and which gear the car decided to be in. You are going to see stocks behind the steering wheel, which are very high quality, honestly. They look really, really nice for your headlight commands. And then on the right, basically your wiper commands. So yeah, very premium stuff, I have to say, in this car. For a $45,000 car, I mean, this thing is just very well equipped. Drive Your Future is what Jetour is now putting on every single panel of the car. Yeah, you'll see it literally everywhere. So yeah, it's displayed down at the bottom, and even Drive Your Future again in this different font. I don't know why they decided to change the font. So first of all, look at this nice panel and grab handles, kind of like a Porsche Cayenne. The gear selector is actually very premium. It feels heavy, it feels large, and it feels like it came from an aviation theme because it is huge and feels, you know, really nice to control. PRNDS, obviously, the P is over here, and then this is your rear view camera. We have a lot of angles. If I scroll between 2D and 3D, and I currently have my foot on the brakes. If I remove them, you're going to see how the lights are going to, you know, basically display that. So yeah, those attention to detail, I really like them, especially that the car is gray and this is in gray. If I turn on the lights, for example, is going to be displayed on the screen, even though it just kind of dimmed it out. Hazards. And if you want to do the manual shifting, simply put your foot on the brake, obviously, and then press it again once to go into plus and minus. And this is your all-wheel drive controls, which again It's very nice, and I'm gonna show you why. So this is my controller. When I change the driving mode, it's going to display a very nice animation for every single driving mode you might think of, including snow and whatever. So yeah, look at that animation. I mean, that attention to detail is just, Jetour have done an amazing job with the whole infotainment system. Is via this mode, and then if you press it, you're going to go into X mode, which lights up everything, and it's going to display on the screen. Kudos to Jetour for not having piano black over here. They have this nice trim, and then these kind of transparent buttons for hill descent, and then your parking cameras, and then on the right you have your AC and then your defrost. I'm still disappointed we don't have a physical volume knob. One of them could have been, you know, a volume knob up and down. We have wireless phone charging, and then obviously this reminds me a lot of the Defender, but instead of having like a Defender writing, we have this map with like waypoints or whatever. It looks pretty clean. And then you have a storage area to put a phone. But if we open up the glove box, which opens up very smoothly, and it's pretty large, so you can put a lot of stuff.
I'm coming.
Jetour, can you open the sunroof?
Okay.
All right, guys, so we're setting off in the Jetour T2. Parking brake is on the left. The steering wheel is very light. It's actually too light to my liking. I liked a bit of feedback from it. I really like the fact that we have paddle shifters behind the wheel. That's something that I always complain about other Chinese vehicles, that they just decide not to put paddle shifters, so you can't really do the shifting duties by yourself. Let's try the hill descent assist, since we're going down on a steep downhill. So we have to first of all switch to rock mode using this. There we go, it's doing its thing. I don't have my feet on the brakes. It's just going down by itself at around 7 kilometers an hour. The infotainment system is super snappy. You can do everything from that screen, from your headlights, your window commands, literally all your driving modes, climate control, so everything is through that screen, which surprisingly works brilliantly. It is very quick, super nice to use, and I really like this display that you get. I'm going to show you that in a second, of the car. It's going to show you how the wheels are tilted, which direction you're going, the altitude that you're at. Above the driver, you have this small cubby space to put, well, glasses and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty a smart touch. From the dashing, I felt like Jetour is really headed into a very bright future. I was just a bit disappointed about the way it drives and the power delivery. Let's go into sport and let's try and see that throttle response. So you can see that engine roars a lot. That's one thing that I remember, yes, about the Jetour. So whenever you accelerate, there's a bit of a delay in the throttle response, and when you remove your foot off the accelerator, there's a bit of a delay, as if the car didn't understand yet that you removed your foot off the accelerator. I feel like this is something, I don't know if a lot of people notice, but accelerating, removing my foot off the accelerator, it feels like, yes, I want to remove it sooner, but the car thinks otherwise. You do not feel any of the imperfections. It's obviously a bit bumpy, but I expected more. I expected the ride to feel less pleasant. And you know, after driving this car a bit aggressively, I understand how fun these things are and why people are kind of comparing it to the Defender, because it feels much more lightweight than the Defender. It feels like a toy. There's a lot of torque, and for a small body of around 1.8 tons, really it can get you out of any situation. Very smooth power delivery. Is there any body roll? Yes, a lot of it, which is to be expected. This car is not a body on frame, it's a monocoque. Guys, it is super smooth on the road. That is crazy, and you can definitely hear that turbo flutter, a little tiss sound, and then accelerating. This thing drives amazingly well. That's it. That's my verdict about the car. It's smooth, it feels light, and it's overall a very good bargain. I would say the best value for your money. $45,000 is basically nothing for all the features that you're getting. So many other options on the market are either front wheel drive, or they're really not meant to go off-road. Is the Jetour T2 worth the hype? Maybe. Is it a super cool budget car? Definitely. At $45,000, you're getting a lot of overlanding capability, and while it doesn't feel as solid as I'd like, I believe it's more of a fancier Suzuki Jimny than a toned-down Defender. And I say Jimny because it was super hyped at some point in 2020, and if you approach it with low expectations, you'll love it. So for it to make sense for you, here are my pros and cons, because to many, the cons are negligible and they love every bit of their T2. But here's my honest opinion. And despite its price, don't underestimate the luxurious build and quality materials. It's charming, super comfortable, and packed with options, making it feel like a bargain at 45 grand. I mean, give me the name of any car that can pull it off with all these qualifications.